Welcome to the Big Biz Show.
Taking care of business.
You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
And a big old howdy to you, live from the Loft 100 studios here in sunny Southern California. Hope everyone's having a great day. Welcome to the Big Biz Show. I'm Costa. It's Mary Bird Godwin. Our executive producer is Greg Todorov. Of course, right there behind the bar, Captain Finance.
Can I bring you
Sully? Yes, you
to
can.
the sunny, warm land
Yes.
of New Jersey?
Oh, yes.
Have you guys been to New Jersey? New Jersey?
I have been.
You've had to see a game at Rutgers. And you're like, you have.
Went to school in New Jersey.
You went to school? Where'd you
Montclair State.
No kidding.
Go Indy. Well, we were the Indians, but now they're the Red Hawks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that less offensive?
I know. That's it.
Red Hawk Indian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only 7-year college in the nation, right?
Thank
Mike?
God.
I never understood why you were honoring something like a Redskin. Like watching Redskins was the owner's wife was an Indian, the original owner for watching
Sure.
Redskins. His wife was honoring
Sure.
his wife.
I know.
How is that offensive?
I don't know. It kind of got caught up in that we've got to change this or people want that changed.
The one where I got on this bandwagon here was when I was doing talk radio, my first year in talk radio, when we were doing a live remote from San Diego State, and I was a San Diego State Aztec, and the Native American Student Alliance,
Yeah.
which would be Native American,
Right.
was complaining about the
Yeah.
Aztecs,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
were Central America.
Yeah.
And the college kids didn't really put two and two together why it wasn't offensive to them.
It's just, and I don't
thought that
know
was-
if there's many Aztecs right now who are out protesting the Aztec name.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been around for like 1,000 years.
Well, I put the in Aztec. Look who's here from New York at the Small Cap Conference. It is Howie and Devon. Look at you guys.
Wow.
Look at you.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, ahoy, Poloy.
Atlantic City.
It's just jamming back there.
I know.
Devin looks like
Is
a
there
priest.
anybody even in there?
I am slightly a priest in this case. Also, Sully, when it comes to Redskins, after a few whiskeys, I get Redskin, and I'm not offended at all. So I'm on your side on that one.
Sounds like he's on speed, but you're crawling through a tunnel of hair. I'm just saying, right? Like his face is like emerging.
Right.
Howie, let's talk about what the environment was like there. You've been to a number of these things for us on the air. What happened?
Yeah, so this has been actually a really active conference. The main hall is right upstairs. We wanted to get the welcome Microcap sign for our little spot here, but we've got hundreds of people. There's $9.9 billion, in market cap here.
Wow.
So there's quite a lot of companies, and they have a lot to say, lots of presentations. The Motley Fool had a speaker yesterday, some fun comedy shows that we
Tom
endorsed,
Papa.
and Tom Papa, that's right. And it's been an excellent conference. Lots of deal making happening.
Did you
people like Steve Ritchie?
Is it investors and companies looking for capital? Is that what it is, or is it just about awareness? What's
There are service providers to the market cap and clientele. So there's lawyers and stock transfer agencies and promoters and things like that. They're definitely here. But there are a lot of actual capital formation people, if they're deal finders or syndicate people, or they're actually representing their own fund or their own money. We've seen all cases here today.
As you guys,
I actually got this whole thing completely wrong, too, by the way, guys. Sorry to interrupt, but I thought we were supposed to have tiny hats. That's why I brought these tiny hats. Microcap. Come on, guys. We got you a microcap.
You knew that was coming.
It's been like this.
You knew that was
like
on the way.
all week.
I'll be here all the week.
I love your comedic timing there, Father Doane. Thank you very much for that. You, as you guys wander the floor there and stuff, is it little groups huddled? Are there displays? Is it like a trade show, or is it just a lot of like, hey, talk to you later type of stuff?
We did a lot when it came to, for instance, the Bio conference in San Diego earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And we saw that was much more, I have a booth, come to me, see me, check me out.
Well, go back to work, boys. You guys have a great time.
This is a big, gorgeous ball.
Yeah, stay right there. We'll go back to New Jersey here in just a second.
Let's just let them go.
Oh, sweet.
Turn them loose.
Let's just turn them loose. They're there for a whole nother day. We can talk to them tomorrow also.
All right. Flushing and moving on. It is the Big Biz Show. Continues inside the Loft 100 studios. As always, we appreciate you being along for this crazy roller coaster ride. Hope everyone's having a great day. I am Costa. That is Marybird Godwin right there. I believe that's third base at a blackjack table. Greg Todorov,
That's
our
exactly
executive
right.
producer.
Yeah.
And a hell of a third baseman, I
Thank
tell
you.
Sully,
Thank you.
that's right.
Yeah. Or the guy sitting at the end of the bar. One of the two.
Totally.
Let's talk economic impact in one lump sum in one big day, and that is the big game, the Super Bowl.
Coming up.
Coming up. I can't wait.
$1.3 billion in direct economic impact for the city of New Orleans. Direct spending close to $300 million. A tax revenue base of $130 million.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count the beignets and the powdered sugar.
Not at all. Or the gumbo, or the muffalettas, or the po' boys, or all that
Have
good
you been
stuff.
to a Super Bowl?
I have. I've been to many.
Really?
Have you really?
What's your
Very-
favorite?
I've never been to a Super Bowl.
I haven't either.
Really?
Not once.
It's my first Super Bowl as a kid when my uncle was still coaching for the Raiders, and it was up in Pasadena.
There's a Fritos Bowl that was
Super Bowl,
filled with bean dip.
Super Bowl 11, and you'll love this. The halftime entertainment was Up with People.
I have
Sully
been
was
to.
probably there.
I have been to a Super Bowl.
That was you.
Forgot.
But now it is now just such a massive corporate event. The Super Bowl is not for the normal football.
It's almost the NFL gets into town and it's like it's political.
Yeah.
I mean, because they can look. I mean, here in San Diego, we had a fishing industry here in San Diego for many years in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
Which represented about in those dollars about $1 billion in economic impact. Fishing got dried up. Then we had aerospace. We created the Scud missile, the Patriot missile.
Yep.
Places like General Dynamics and Hughes and Convair. That dried up. Here comes beer, craft brewery,
yeah.
same economic
Took over
impact.
this town.
Or you could also have a Super Bowl come to your town if you're in Miami, a San Diego, a New Orleans. There's probably two other cities I'm missing here that creates that kind of economic impact on top of the regular economic impact.
Total.
Yet every study sort of shows that there isn't political will in terms of citizenry wanting to build stadiums to bring Super Bowls in.
And there's, in San Diego, I know that there's still a lot of people, who wants that? The traffic's going to increase. All these fuzzy foreigners from out of town, who wants them walking through the gas lamp, spending all their money type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, and I just can't help it only because of the thing is what I do for a living. If I go to Petco Park here in San Diego, you go, in Detroit, wherever you go to Yankee Stadium in New York, you go to what is the field in Dallas? It's teeming.
AT&T Stadium?
It's teeming with economic activity. I went to London last year to see the Phillies play the Mets.
Right.
At the I was more excited to get to go to
Wimbledon.
no, not Wimbledon. I get to go to the pitch that
The Hotspurs are playing on?
no, what's the show that we all love?
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
The Lasso field. I was more excited about that than I was about the game.
What field is that? What's that
I
called?
forget what it's called. It was but it was the same field they shoot on. I was so excited.
That's
So the
cool.
blue and the red. But what's interesting, it teams with economic impact. Okay, and I was talking about this the other day when I was called into the office of Dean Spanos along with another radio personality, and they asked how should we change the way we communicate. And I was doing afternoon drive radio at the time, and Steve Hartman was doing his regular stuff. And we said, stop calling it Charger Stadium.
Yeah.
Doesn't the NFL have a responsibility to change the way it's pitching these facilities to the public? Because,
Of course.
to Mary, we're lining the pockets of a billionaire, aren't we? By letting him have a stadium. Yes or no?
Well, yeah.
No, we're not, though. I'll tell you why. It's a civic asset. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you San Diego Stadium, before it was torn down, built in 1965 with 100% taxpayer dollars for $25 million, hosted poinsettia bowls, hosted Billy Graham, hosted Major League Baseball, hosted monster truck races, hosted concerts, Paul McCartney, Cheap Trick. Have I mentioned the Chargers ones?
No.
Not one time. It made the city a better place to live.
Well, yes.
The
And it lined his
however,
pocketbook.
the Chargers were the biggest tenant, paying the most money to use it. How in the world was it? Well, the problem was it wasn't lining the pockets of a billionaire, but the Spanoses, like every other owner in the NFL, wants to call it Mike Custis Stadium.
Yeah.
It's the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. It's much more than, it's a civic asset. And I don't understand why the NFL can't get the message across to get, I'm bitching about San Diego. Look at Staples Centers. We talked about the other day. In concentric circles, Staples Centers has affected the real estate prices of places that were condemned 20 years ago.
The pitch should be, the first thing out of somebody's mouth who's going to try to sell, we need a new stadium is here. The NFL is only going to, on an average, use this place for 10 Sundays or Saturdays out
a year.
That's it.
That's it.
And people forget that you get, like here at the Loft 100 Studios, CEOs come in and they do talks to their shareholders or their companies. And there's so many more events that go on inside those stadiums. People forget about it. May not be on the field, it may not fill the bowl, but there's. But
when you're talking about taxpayer money and you're talking about floating a bond, I think it's important to get the message out.
They're raking it.
Because look, we're calling it Charger Stadium, but they're also the biggest payer of rent to that stadium.
Yeah.
But that's
that message was lost.
Was completely lost
when it mattered.
Right.
Before the Chargers.
Exactly right. And the NFL put its heels in the sand, as it's doing with many cities.
Yeah.
And saying we're not going to have a Super Bowl in your city until you increase your digital. No more analog. No more. I mean, you've got to bring
state of the art,
or we're not coming.
No.
And they have enough money, and they make enough. I mean, even a Monday Night Football creates some kind of impact.
Oh my God, the Sunday nights and the Monday nights here in San Diego, when we had a football team. That's all, and you felt it in the air. It's all
when we had a football team.
Can we talk about the night that I forget what teams played, but it was on Netflix and Beyonce did the halftime?
Yeah.
Did you see this?
That was the Cowboys.
It was a better halftime than the Super Bowl halftime. It was
you bring
good, and
you bring up
Netflix
a good
paid for that thing, and it was worth it.
But you bring up a good point, because the point is, even in Major League Baseball, even though I hate the announcers on Apple, it's a much better game to watch.
Sure.
Because Apple's in 1000D.
Yeah, right.
Whatever it's called. They've got, in the lower third, they've got percentage of him getting drunk last night and also striking out right now. I mean, they've got the great, they'll say his percentage of hitting a double right now is this. His percentage of striking out is this.
Yep.
It's so much, I think the difference is good. It doesn't have to be big three anymore, or big four now.
No. And people will always listen to the Vin Scully's call a game. They want that traditional, no nonsense, no jokes, no laughter, anecdotes, and call the game. But to your point about percentage of him hitting a home run versus him getting drunk last night.
That gets more people engaged.
Thank you. And that's what people want. It's entertainment.
Yeah, right.
So did Netflix how did that work out? That they just...
Netflix has a deal. Amazon's got a deal.
Okay, so they're all
Apple's
getting
got
deals.
a deal. And it's not just football, it's baseball and everything else. How do you feel about Tom Brady in the calling booth with the other guy with great hair?
Oh, medium.
Yeah, me too.
I like the old guy.
Good golly.
Greg Olson.
Good
Greg Olson.
golly.
I thought Greg Olson was great.
Oh, Keith
Jackson.
Oh,
yeah.
we got ourselves a Jim Dundee.
Yeah.
No.
What happened to those? Well, it's almost like Paul Harvey at talk radio.
Totally.
What happened to those?
No, it's more conversational. It's like you dumb it down for the masses and stuff. But I think Tom Brady is a co-owner of my beloved Raiders, so I love Tom now. But light years, Greg Olson is light years better as an analyst than Tom Brady is.
Is anybody tired of the
Chiefs?
Howie Long show?
Fox?
Of the 75 guys that
there's a lot
talk with
of
their
them.
hands.
Yeah. The Fox pregame
fighting
show.
over, talking over each other.
Fox pregame show is now God's waiting room. Unfortunately, it is time. It's time to move on. I tell you, Rich Eisen, who I think is the best in the frickin' business, the NFL Network's pregame show, week in, week out, is the best.
Well, it used to be Chris Berman, and it used to be Stuart
ESPN,
Scott,
yeah.
and ESPN,
But
the whole thing.
that show is funny. It's creative. They have great segments. They're not boring.
It's not self-congratulatory.
No, and they don't get hung up in the
Howie
X's
Long,
and
you were
O's.
popular in 1986.
He's a beloved Raider. I get it, but it's time to go, boys. Time to go.
I think so too. If we had to, Mary, knowing what you know now, do you think a city should, if there's multi-uses, should a city back a multiplex sports facility with taxpayer dollars?
I definitely think so.
I think so too. Because
I am really sad that we don't have one here.
And at the end of the day, I think a lot of voters that didn't vote for a stadium here in San Diego are lamenting that now that the Chargers are gone. And Look, the Chargers pulled a fast one because they thought that they were going to be worth $1 billion by moving north to LA. And for the first 5 years, there was 27 things to watch in LA as far as sports goes, including girls field hockey. They were number 28.
So I have a question though. Do we think that, I didn't think that LA was going to embrace them, but it seems a little bit like they have.
That's what I'm saying. It's totally
right?
turned
or
around.
Have they not?
They've got a bunch of people. They need their own stadium, don't they?
They do.
And they need to come
That
back.
is a bummer.
And where do they need to come back to?
Well, Stan Kroenke is still the king. That's the owner of the Rams.
He also paid for it himself.
Yeah, they're secondary to the Rams, right?
And they're still secondary to the Raiders, who are still the most popular.
And you know what they are also? They're dead. They're dead to me.
Dead to me. That's right.
Dead. They're dead to me. I don't have a football team. I have my Chiefs. The Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs.
Oh, come on.
We're going Chiefs.
Yes, baby. Yeah.
Bandwagon.
How about them Raiders?
Yes. They were bad. I get it. Just so unfair. Big Biz Show rolls on. We are live inside the Loft 100 studios, and that studio is in beautiful Southern California. Speaking of beautiful, that is the Day Trader Trio up on that stage, the best in the business. Back here at the bar, it's Costa and Sully rolling on with the Big Biz Show.
I guess summer's actually started because,
Has it?
well, I think Mary's out with the kids for summer vacation. Greg's taking summer, but it's the beginning of summer. People taking summer off.
Isn't that when like the Swallows leave?
Yeah.
Or are they?
Stands on Capisano, yeah.
Oh yeah. James McCormick is the CEO of Cloudastructure Inc. Ticker symbol is CSAI. Back with us here on the Big Biz Show. Mr. McCormick, how's the day treating you?
So far, so good. Thank you. Glad we finally are able to do this.
Great to see you, James. I've got to ask, when we talk about AI, cloud structure, AI surveillance, give us an overview.
Yeah.
Give us an overview for the rest of us who don't really understand kind of the overreaching umbrella that covers.
Sure. So maybe a little background on the company to start, right? So we are a cloud-based artificial intelligence video surveillance company. A lot of words, but we offer surveillance and remote guarding for our customers. And one way to think about it, by using artificial intelligence, just like Google indexes the web, we index customer videos to make them searchable and actionable.
Wow. So we're talking about so we're looking at your website here, and it's bicycle theft, employee problems, lease violations.
Yep.
So give us an example, and this is all a sort of a it's an AI based, artificial intelligence based surveillance that's also
Correct.
criteria specific to almost an enterprise wide solution. Like it covers almost everything. You've got 17 categories there.
Yep, absolutely. So what we found and where we have initially targeted our sales is at multifamily properties. We have 5 of the largest 10 multifamily property managers in the United States. And basically what we're doing is we are either connecting to existing cameras that they have, or we're installing cameras in a cloud-based video recorder that captures images, sends it to our servers where the artificial intelligence actually does its work, I guess you would say. And if there's something suspicious that's noted, we can send an alert to the customer or the property manager, or if they sign up for it, we also have remote guards, sort of humans in the loop, that can evaluate the videos further and see if it requires further action, i.e. a talk down through an external speaker, notifying local authorities, those sorts of things. And what we have found in the instance where there's additional human interaction needed, we deter 98% of things that could otherwise go sideways.
James McCormick is the CEO of Cloudastructure Inc., ticker symbol CSAI. James, so is it? Are you trying to eliminate having a bunch of human eyeballs in one room looking at a bunch of screens? Is AI? AI is the first one that gets it, and then they will decide how to attack the event.
Yep, 100%. So in a lot of instances, multifamily property owners, even if they have cameras and they have a person watching the cameras, they think it's being monitored. But what the statistics tell us is that a human being can maybe look at 10 cameras or 10 images at a time.
Wow.
But with AI, we're watching all the time. And our remote guards, they can look at 50 plus images and just focus in on the ones that look like they need a further addressing, I guess you would say.
James, is this in addition to like central station monitoring systems for burglar alarms, or is this augment them, or is this a whole separate sort of system? Because it seems like
whole different system, and here's why. If you think about central monitoring, traditional, like the alarm system I have in my home, you probably have in yours, that's reactive, right?
Oh, yeah.
If something happens, the alarm goes off. It's too late. We're actually proactive, trying to stop things before they happen. And if you think about it, one of the case studies that we show is, people in parking garages trying to do something nefarious. Mm-hmm. We stop those events before they happen. And in the morning, the property manager comes in and has a list of things that we prevented, as opposed to a group of tenants that are all ticked off because their car has been broken into.
Sure. So this is reactive, or it's even faster than reactive. It's twice as fast as responsive, because that's what alarm companies are. Tell us about your company. What's next for you guys? It looks like you guys just did a pretty big deal with multifamily property. Is the idea to continue to find these bigger spaces like this, or do you stick with one and see if these guys grow?
Yeah. So with the 5 of the top 10 largest property managers we have right now, let me just give you a sense of scale. They operate about 10,000 properties. We're in about 100 of those right now. So there's a number of strategies. We'll continue to go after the multifamily property managers. We're going to land and expand, and that's happening as we speak. Once we go in and show what we're capable of doing and preventing, the customers become our biggest advocates.
Really?
So, for instance, there's one particular customer earlier this year. We got in one property with them. They gave us 7 more to quote and to get into. So land and expand, right? In addition, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. It just made me think. If you're expanding on multi-family properties like that, is there an application? Is there a military application for this? I mean, it seems like that'd be the next thing. Ooh. I mean, what you're doing could
perhaps. There are myriad opportunities, and we could take this. We could take our technology. The thing with the military is it's really tough to crack into the government sector. Really tough. It takes a lot of time.
What about licensing them? What about licensing the technology though? I mean, it seems like you guys have wrangled the technology here that could be used. I mean, you're in the right place at the right time. I'm just saying, man, pretty robust.
It's an interesting thought. For the right customer, for the right relationship, would we consider white labeling? Sure, of course we would.
Insane. What's before you get out of here? What are you looking forward to most here for the next 6 months of the year and beyond here for?
Yeah, I'd say a couple things. We're starting to expand into additional verticals. We're seeing some initial success in construction sites, transportation/logistics. And we think there could be some big opportunities in commercial properties as well. So, we more in Q1 of this year with our announced results, we had we generated over 50% of the revenue from all of last year. Growth continues to look positive, and we're just really excited about continuing to sign deals.
Sure.
Improving the financial performance of the company and reporting that out to the public and getting more people to understand our story.
Well, you got to come back with us.
Absolutely. We need your technology here in the studio. I just need to find out who's stealing my Funyuns every time in the kitchen. James McCormick, CEO of Cloudastructure Inc., ticker symbol CSAI. I, as in I am going to stay here. Sully's going to stay here. You stay here as well. Much more to come with the Big Biz Show right after this. In over 175 countries in all the ships at sea, you can hear us on the American Forces Network. As always, a shout out to our brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces for what they do, what they've done for us. That is the Day Trader Trio. They are always great for us. Back here at the bar, it's Costa and Sully as the Big Biz Show rolls on.
125 million TV homes strong over on BizTV as well as Bloomberg Television, American Life Network. Good to see you. Multicast, as Mike said, on Armed Forces Radio, so television radio. The multi-Emmy award winning.
Yes.
Jared Coleman is our director. Good to see you along today. And so have you discovered pickleball yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I am now up to maybe 13 hours a week in pickleball. Like early morning, late afternoon. It has taken over. And
stay active, baby.
And our next guest showed up at the pickleball courts, and we became quick friends because I found out he was a business owner, and he had something that was pretty unique. And suddenly I see everybody on the course with one of these cans of it says gelato on it.
Yeah.
His name's George Sadler, co-founder and CEO of Gelato Water. Good, buddy. It's good to see you in here. I'm
good
so
to
glad.
see you.
And
as a pickleball player, the question you always ask: how are your knees?
Yeah, my knees are great. I feel good. I had 2 knee replacements a couple years ago. How did this start? Because you're a longtime entrepreneur. We've both been in San Diego for a long time. But how do you? This is a highly trafficked market. I mean, there's a lot of brands out there.
I know people would probably say we're kind of crazy for doing it, but it actually started out as a lifestyle change. So I have 8 kids, of which 4 of those are 2 sets of twins under 4 years old.
Wow.
And yeah.
You must sleep.
Probably not as busy as you, but I don't know, busy. And we just we decided to cut all plastics out, and there's some other viable canned waters, and actually we were at Boots in the Park with my son, and I said how crazy it would be for everybody. Liquid Death was the sponsor.
Yeah.
Be holding up a pink can.
Right.
And so the very next Boots in the Park, we were the sponsor.
And Liquid Death, by the way, is a canned water versus the water bottles that are filling the oceans and the landfills, right?
Correct.
And so what was the genesis of the first flavor and thought I'm going to go sparkling water and because it seems like there's a lot of competition to walk into this thing.
There is, you would think so, but plastic is going away rapidly. And any of these festivals on the ocean side, they will not accept plastic. And so there's really only a few waters that are really good canned waters. And Liquid Death being one of those has hit the market. We decided to go local across the board and stay true to the brand. And so we source with Palomar Mountain Spring water, which is local.
Yeah.
We're one of only 3 companies that can source there. And so everything in our water is Palomar Mountain Spring. We stayed true to that. The sparkling waters are still Mountain Spring water, but with real fruit. No sugars added, no essence or flavors, natural flavor. It's 100% juice and spring water.
The only plastic that's acceptable now at a party is a red Solo cup.
That's true.
That's across the board. That is it. And the thing, and nothing against Liquid Death. We right now on our refrigerator at home there is some Liquid Death, but
it's great water.
It is, but I always look at it and think, okay, that's not an energy drink. That's not going to make my heart explode. It just kind of has that look where your can, your font, everything about it is like, okay, I'm super thirsty. I can't wait to pop that thing. Type of feeling from it.
And I think the big thing is, not to go on to Liquid Death, but they've captured a very big market when it comes to what your lifestyle is and having this. And, for us, we wanted to be, a family style brand that, appeals to everybody.
Sure.
We've sponsored now, we're going through golf, we're going through MMA, huge MMA stuff, a lot of kids sports. We've done amazing things, and mothers, which are the biggest purchaser of everything that comes into our homes, are not wanting to have their kids carrying around a Liquid Death can.
It's true. And so part of this is face forward marketing. Part of this is thinking about how do you present the brand.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was not just entering into a beverage market. It was entering into a market where you could cut through.
Yeah.
And the idea was that. So the idea behind sponsorships of festivals, sponsorships of sporting events, and those types of things versus traditional advertising.
Right.
Is that better? Is that cost effective? Is it more eyeballs? What's the strategy?
It's horrible for me to say as a business person.
It seems to be working.
No,
Yeah.
And so understand, our first 6 months, we had no distribution. We had 0 sales. We'd done 7 festivals, large festivals at that, with no outlet.
Yeah.
We're flying airplanes with banners around the beach, and there's nowhere to get this product other than our warehouse and online, and that was it. But now since then, we have national distribution with major distributors across the board. We're in 4 or 5 states now already with the water. So we're hitting these markets, and people, I had that at Beach Life.
Yeah, right.
Oh, they walk into these stores and they go, oh man, I had it, at this festival. I had it at, Mission Beach Fest or Bay Fest. And so it's kind of been reversed for us, and I've had to capture my son on this because he's the brain behind the money side.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that gives it away.
Yeah.
I said, trust me, it's gonna work,
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see that side of it.
How does that? How does the distribution model work? I mean, is it tough to get in?
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say that's.
And this is the ironic thing about that is that we captured distribution so early on in this, for this side of it. And ironically, my son, which we've all grew up playing hockey in my family, and he's playing hockey with one of the biggest distributor down here for a year, didn't even know it. And the guy comes over because he takes the water for the bench and for everybody. And we sponsor 2 hockey teams. And the guy says, you and I are going to talk pretty soon.
Yeah.
Turns out to be John Lenore.
Oh, from one of the biggest distribution companies in the West Coast.
What hockey teams are you sponsoring?
Gelato. Gelato teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's get you on the dasher boards of an NHL game.
So they're,
type of thing.
and that's ironically, we ended up with John Lenore, which they would never bring a brand on like this, and now we're just booming.
What's next for you guys? I mean, what does the next 6 months, 18 months look like? Will you guys go public? Will somebody acquire you?
We're just building.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're having a blast with it.
Right.
We're just building. This started out as just kind of a family thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just kind of taken that step through. And so now our big thing is our thing is just getting the cans into people's hands.
Yeah.
And so we do a ton of philanthropy stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, talk about your give back program.
We did, so for every case we give away 1 can. So during the LA fires, we gave 176,000 cans in 5 days.
Wow.
And we literally had, we could only service so much, but as soon as we started, we had trucks coming down from LA, loading up at our warehouse and going back up. And then we also had frontline crews. So we were able to get literally, because the problem that we had was these firefighters are up there. It gives me chills because it was crazy to see. They didn't have waters. They had stations where people were putting waters.
Yeah.
But these guys are up there for 2-3 days at a time.
Yeah.
And just getting, as a truck would fill, they get small amounts of waters. These guys needed waters.
Yeah.
We had crews that were able to get to the lines. So the videos that we have are not, they're not at a station. We have some of that. It's actual at the fire where these guys are fighting the fires in the neighborhoods, and our guys are driving through and giving them waters as they're fighting the fires. So
before I let you out here, so we got lemon lime, you got mango. What's your other flavors here?
Lemon, lime, mango, and then this is just regular sparkling, and this is just still mountain spring water.
Okay, this is like biting into a lime, and a lot of lime flavored bubble water. It's like, okay, it's just
gas.
Kind of a hint?
Well, it's got a hint. It tastes like lemon water. Say, 2 lemons equals a lime. This is like I just bit into a friggin' lime.
Well, you can.
So the side when we went to have the flavors made, we knew what we wanted, but we didn't know what the portions were. And they said, well, you got to pay. It's like $30,000 to have somebody, formulate and this and that. Right. We bought 60 barrels of real fruit juice.
And started testing.
And then we went to our manufacturer, and he's like, well, what do you want? I said, let's just start with this percentage. What's the normal? And when we added 2% to the normal, and then we sat in there and they mixed the barrels into this giant thing, and then they come in and go, No, that's a little bit more. My son and I were sitting there. That's how we did it.
Really?
And they said in the history of manufacturing, they've always had a formulation. They go, okay, it's 7%, blah, 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 and then they mix it and it goes. We sat there for 4 hours for each flavor, and literally they'll put another barrel in.
That's
Let's
how
get it to this percentage.
Oppenheimer built the nuclear bomb. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. You know.
George, where can you can drinkgelato.com. Where can people get this now? Is they go online? Can they order online?
You can order online. It's on Amazon. We're in about 850 stores in San Diego or in the Southern California. We're in about 200 stores in Las Vegas, Colorado, Texas, and Arizona.
All of which have our show.
Yes, they do. George Sadler, co-founder, CEO of Gelato Water. Again, the website to find out where that nearest can is to you. drinkgelato.com.
Thanks, man. You got to come back with us. Fantastic.
I dropped off a ton of water here.
Love that. Big Biz coming up.
We ain't mad at that.
Start launching out.
Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we are live in Southern California inside the Loft 100 studios. Hope everyone's having a great day. As always, we appreciate you being with us here. I'm Costa. That's our executive producer, Greg Todorov, to my right. Of course, the man with the plan, Captain Adams himself, Sully.
Great to have you along today. Christian Kanstrup, CEO, Evaxion, stock symbol EVAX. Boy, they had a lot of attention lately, and Christian joins us once again. Clinical stage tech bio company based upon AI, Immunology platform. What it really does, it speeds up the ability to do the science and such to where we have a better outcome medically. So I give you once again, Christian. Christian, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
I am good, Sully. Great to see you again. How are you doing?
Good.
Great to be back.
Good to have you. For the folks that haven't seen you in a while, I want you to give us a little brief history of the company and where you guys are at.
Be happy to. I mean, Evaxion was founded as a AI-first company in 2008. Long before, there was any talk about AI. We were founded with the objective of using computational methods to decode the human immune system to be able to develop new therapies faster, better, and more effective therapies. And that's what we are focusing at, utilizing our quite unique AI immunology platform to be able to develop personalized therapies for cancer and novel therapies for infectious diseases, where you, with conventional methods, can't develop these therapies, all with the objective of being able to develop much better therapies for patients with either cancer or infectious diseases. So quite a unique situation we are in, having had a 15-year head start before all of the hype around AI started, and we have a validated and proven platform and are in phase 2 with our personalized cancer vaccine, EVX-01, against metastatic melanoma. So it's really about utilizing AI to be able to address serious unmet medical needs and enable people to live a healthier life.
You know, we haven't talked in a little while about your how do I say it? It's a options and license agreement with Merck. Talk about that. That seems like a guaranteed exit down the road, or at least getting you to market.
No, it's definitely a transformative agreement with Merck that we entered into. That was in September last year. Merck took the option and license agreement to 2 of our infectious disease therapies. We got a $3 million upfront last year. We are set to get up to $10 million this year. And in total, we could get milestones of up to $600 million per product. And it's 2 novel vaccine candidates. And of course, who could think of a better partner than the world leader in development of infectious diseases and commercialization of infectious disease vaccines, which Merck is. So we are truly excited about this collaboration. And on top of that, we actually also have Merck as our biggest shareholder. They just participated in a recent financing we did. So a very strong relationship with Merck. But most important, this really enabled us to bring 2 novel vaccine candidates to the market, addressing serious unmet needs.
Christian Kanstrup is the CEO of Evaxion. Their ticker symbol is EVAX. Christian, with the United States and other world governments trying to get a handle on AI, maybe trying to corral it a little bit, does it hinder what you are doing, or are governments helpful to your final result, what you want?
I would say the more investments you have going into AI, the better. I mean, we have the advantage of having had a significant head start. And I mean, if you look at the US recent events, you have the Stargate initiative with 500 billion US being deployed into AI infrastructure. You have Oracle and Larry from Oracle talking about wanting to develop personalized cancer vaccines in 48 hours. I think we are already there, but we can do it in 24 hours. So the more investment you get into AI and the infrastructure around it, the better for us. And that's where I'm very comfortable about the position we are in and the head start that we have had already today, being able to develop a personalized cancer vaccine in just 24 hours.
You're talking about personalized cancer vaccines. All the vaccines seem to have the same recipe except for what they're trying to vaccinate against. Is your vaccine technology an enterprise-wide technology where, as things come up in our world that we're trying to cure, that you can reverse engineer into, or is this criteria specific just to this one development of metastatic cancer that you're talking about?
No, it's actually broadly applicable across multiple cancer therapies. That's the uniqueness about our AI immunology platform. Based upon a tumor biopsy from a patient, we can develop a vaccine against, I would say in principle, any solid tumor where you have a lot of mutations in the tumor. So yes, we are in metastatic melanoma now as the lead indication, but there's hope for all solid tumors where we can apply the methods and develop personalized cancer therapies. And let's just remind ourselves that we have 10 million people dying each year from cancer. So there is definitely a need for a novel approach to treating cancers. And who could think of a better treatment than a therapy which is designed especially for you? It's not the same everyone else is getting. This is made especially for you, aiming at giving you the most effective outcome in treating your cancer.
I got to ask, Christian, for 2025, what are you looking forward to most? What's the rest of this year look like for you guys in terms of what you have planned out?
We have a truly exciting year coming up. Of course, we talked about the agreement we have with Merck. We have the exercise of that agreement coming up in the second half. From a R&D point of view, we have actually 2-year readout on our EVX-01 phase 2 trial in the second half of the year as well. We are also working on a precision cancer vaccine concept where we will be selecting the lead candidate to bring into clinical development in the second half. And on top of that, have a strong focus on partnering with pharma, partnering with biotech, aiming at as quickly as possible bringing novel candidates to the market. And here we have set out the objective of doing at least 2 new agreements for 2025. So it's going to be a super busy year. Good thing is we have just completed some financing, so now we have cash well into 2026 and can really focus on executing and getting our novel AI-derived therapies to the market as quickly as possible. So look forward to an exciting 25, guys. It's gonna be cool.
Good stuff. Christian Kanstrup is the CEO of Evaxion, ticker symbol EVAX. Christian, always appreciate the time. Can't wait to watch the ride in 2025. Speaking of the ride, it is over. The ride known as the Big Biz Show. Hope everyone had a good time with us. We appreciate you being along for the ride, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.